As I've covered in previous videos, my name is encoded in the Bible. One of the codes includes my name, last, first, and middle initial, 9 characters in Hebrew. They're all together. There are no spaces. The word in code begins just under my name and then merges with it, and it shares 3 of the same letters. To the right of my name is an odd-looking triangle. The information in that triangle is my sister's name, her day, month, and year of death, and the word died. Put together, it says, Holly died July 17th, 2002. Sadly, that's true. That's the day my little sister died from cancer. I have asked it before, and I will ask it again. How did the Bible know the day my sister was going to die, 3,000 years before she was even born? And why should I trust the skeptics as a reliable source of truth over the Bible? They can't even tell me my sister's name unless I or some other source feed it to them. I think the answer is obvious. There's no reason at all. I was named after my maternal grandmother, and 2 characters above my name is my grandmother's middle name, Esther. It extends from my name over to the information about my sister. My maternal grandmother raised us, and she was like a mother to me. I called her Mom, and still do. I had ChatGPT 4 do a deep statistical analysis of this code, and I will show that work in a moment. The code that includes all of that information has a statistical probability of 1 chance in approximately 1.27 decillion. Here's the p-value expressed as a decimal. That is a 0, followed by a decimal symbol, followed by 33 zeros, and ending with the numbers 789. ChatGPT said this is an extremely low p-value, and it further underscores the highly significant nature of the observed patterns, suggesting that they are exceedingly unlikely to have occurred by random chance alone. I will be silent while the screenshots of my conversation with ChatGPT shows the math. After I ran that experiment, I felt the appearance of my name in the Hebrew Tanakh gave me permission to search in the Torah. Now, I did not include my middle initial in that search. I only searched for my last and first name. It occurred 3 times, and the software's odds calculator listed the odds as less than 1 in a million. I also looked for my son's full name, and that was there. And because the word in code had occurred in my first search, I also looked for it in this one. I also found it. It crosses my name at a 45-degree angle, and to the left of my name is my chosen profession. I had not looked for it a priori, but it was hard to miss. So I am going to include that. ChatGPT ran the odds for that experiment, and it was 1 chance in 1.48 decillion. As ChatGPT 4 says, this is an extremely small number, indicating a highly significant result that indicates an extremely low probability of such a pattern occurring by random chance alone. Now, I will be silent while the screenshots of that experiment and the statistical analysis of it shows. The reason I was so upset in my last video, and I apologize for that. I am not normally a snarky person, but I had been in conversations with people who they refused to believe the Bible is encoded, but they won't look at the evidence. They refuse to look at the evidence, and I really don't understand that. The whole thing has been very frustrating for me. When someone rejects something after looking at the evidence, I can respect that, but it is hard for me to respect a position that is taken without ever examining the evidence. The individuals who reject this base it on a paper by Brendan McKay from over 20 years ago. However, they need to consider a few things about that paper. I'll give you a little backstory first. Harold Gans was a cryptanalyst for the NSA for 28 years, and he initially rejected the idea of a Bible code. He only examined it because his wife was interested. The upshot of his experiment is that he came away a believer in Bible codes. In an interview he did with Sarah Shapiro several years ago at JewishAction.com, he said, "There are mathematicians who believe that since chance occurrences of VLSs can be found in any text, this must be the explanation for patterns that look like codes in the Torah. Some of these mathematicians take as their starting point the firm conviction that there is no such thing as a supreme being, and certainly not a supreme being who wrote the Torah. These individuals have made it their mission to prove that the apparently coherent patterns we claim to have discovered in the Torah are a matter of coincidence, or the result of either self-deception or falsification. The most prominent of these critics, Dr. Brendan McKay of the National University of Australia, claims to have found patterns comparable to Torah codes in the novels War and Peace and Moby Dick. While the mathematical issues are difficult for non-mathematicians to comprehend, I can summarize as follows. Professor McKay and his colleagues never claimed to have discovered real codes in those non-Torah texts. Their only successful results were obtained by deliberately rigging the experiments in such a way that the layman wouldn't recognize the mathematical flaws. To their minds, there is no other possibility, because they took it as a given that the Torah is not a divine document, and that therefore the whole idea of Torah codes is intrinsically absurd. The discovery of codes in Moby Dick or War and Peace to them is no more absurd a claim than the discovery of codes in the Torah. The public does not understand that these critics openly admitted that their research did not result in the discovery of even a single valid code in any text other than the Torah. And I will link to that interview in the description. Now I will go over my methodology and what ChatGPT said about it. I began with a working hypothesis. I used Hebrew dictionaries and lexicons. I did not use any phonetic spelling or tweak any data. I had an a priori plan. I didn't go off on a scavenger hunt. I didn't look for 100 things and kept the one thing that worked. I was looking for my name, my sister's name, and the date she died. I also looked for my grandmother's name since she raised me. Those are the primary things I looked for, and those are the things I ended up finding. Now, I also did look for other things, and I found other things, like my family tree, but my main concern when I began my experiment was Holly, my little sister. Now, here is what ChatGPT 4 said about my methodology, and I'll be quiet while I show those screenshots. So that's everything I have for today, and I'd like to thank you for listening, and again, I want to apologize for how upset and snarky I was. I was angry when I made that video, and I should have waited until I wasn't angry. So thank you again, and I hope you will seriously consider the Bible, that it is the Word of God, and there are plenty of reasons to believe that. Not just codes, there's prophecy, there's historical records, there are archaeological finds, there are many reasons to believe that the Bible is true. I hope you'll look at my other videos on Bible codes, and I also hope you will check out my channel and some of the videos that I have there, and I would like to thank you again. Thank you for listening.